Tiny Epic Vikings by Scott Almes and Gamewyn Games. But before we do this review, I've been hearing stories out there, people attacking my character, calling me hip shot hoes, shoots from the hip with no research. Look, you know what? I'm insulted by this. So you know what I did? I rang up Scotty Almes, the designer of this game, to get the true backstory of Tiny Epic Vikings. Hey Scotty mate, Hoax here. Hey, Hoax. Hoax, board game bangers, Hoax. Hey mate, doesn't matter. Anyway, quick question for you. Can you tell us the inspiration behind how you designed Tiny Epic Vikings? So it turns out that this Viking game was inspired by a little Viking girl called Freya. Freya was a tiny, scrawny Viking child, and originally that was going to be the name of the game, Tiny Scrawny Viking Children. But look, Freya was different to the other Viking kids. She trained hard, ate strong Viking food, and just got jacked. She ended up becoming the most epic child Viking of all time. Hence, we now have Tiny Epic Vikings. True story. Now the first thing you need to know is there's a full-blown game inside of this. Don't let the size fool you. Look, there is a proper game. Now, what is the theme? The theme is Vikings. It's going to hit on every single Viking trope that you can imagine from every other Viking game that's ever existed. So look, don't get too surprised there. It's a Viking game. But what this game does have is drafting, area control, multi-use cards, and a great endgame scoring system that is based around these gods. That's pretty much Tiny Epic Vikings. Let's find out how the game actually plays. Firstly, these multi-use cards. These can be used to attack, these can be used for an action, or these can be used for a bonus action if you have the right type of rune. Let's go over what sort of actions there are in this game. Actions include building your boats and temples, sailing those boats around the fjords, deploying the settlers on the islands, collecting a whole bunch of resources, and raiding those villages. Now quickly, let's touch on the villages. Why do we want to raid villages? Well, firstly, we're Vikings and we love, good old-fashioned pillage. But what we want to do is we want to use those villages to create extra bonus actions. Now, talking about bonus actions, let's have a look at the next thing. Sure, you get a primary action, but without these bonuses like those villages, you have no chance in winning this Viking soiree. Now, talking about bonuses, what about these bonus actions on the bottom of the card? If you have the right type of rune, you get the bonus action. This is going to be the key to winning this game. And the last action on these cards is to fight. Simply turn your card upside down, put it down, go around the circle. When it comes back to you, it's time to fight over these favor cards. Why do we want favor cards? Favor cards get us runes, and we know runes are so important. I keep mentioning runes, but why are runes such a key element in this game? Well, to understand that, we need to understand what is the goal of this game. The goal is to score points. How do we score points? Through our god and goddesses cards. Each game, there'll be 3 of these gods out on the table, each one of them tied to one of the 3 different rune types. What's going to happen is over the course of the game, they're going to earn fury. And they're going to go around, and whoever earns the most fury is going to earn the most points for that particular rune type. You want to collect runes? Collect those runes, scoring points. That's how you win the game. So there's 2 types of runes we're going to collect over the course of the game. The first one we've already talked about, and that's how we're going to fight over these particular favor cards, and that will get us these runes. The other ones are the runes on the islands. This is where the area majority, area influence part of this game is going to kick in. We're going to send out our ships, we're going to dock them on the islands, we're going to deploy our settlers. If we have the most influence on that island, so that's going to be settlers on the island, building those temples on the island, and also having our ships docked, then we're going to collect this rune. If we have that at the end of the game, boy, we get to score it, and again, that's how we will win. And finally, how long does a game of Tiny Epic Vikings last? Well, it lasts 15 turns. We're going to have 3 rounds, 4, 5, 6, and that's it. That's your 15 turns. Hopefully at the end of the game, you've collected those runes, built up the fury on those gods, got the most points there, you've won the game, you're the best Viking. Awesome. That's Tiny Epic Vikings. Now, who is the right audience for this game? Well, look, I'd be dismissive not to realise that this is like the 452nd version of a Tiny Epic game. There's so many out there. So if you've already played a Tiny Epic game before and you really loved it, cool, you're the first type of audience. but the second type of audience, they're the ones who haven't played a Tiny Epic game before. Look, I'm imagining you right now, sitting on your lounge, you're in your undies, eating some ice cream, watching some amazing bangers content, and you're going, am I that audience? Yeah, you probably are, because you like traveling. That is the selling point of this game. Look how small it is. So, do you like traveling? Maybe you're a van lifer and you want to just chuck in the van and drive off. Cool. Maybe you like riding horses and you just want to carry a board game with you while you're riding a horse. Sure. Maybe you've lost your license because you're drink driving, you're a bad person. And maybe you just need to like scoot everywhere and you just want to carry a little game while you're on a scooter. Cool. Maybe you just like going camping or going cruising, whatever it is, it's a small box game that's going to give you that fully fleshed out game feeling. That's the selling point, and that's the audience. Now let's rank player counts in this game. Firstly, I'm going to start off with 3-player being the best. I reckon the most interaction, smaller map, pretty damn cool. Flip it around. Next up, we've got the 4-player. Again, a lot of interaction, but the problem is it's such a small board that, look, 4 players around a table against a small board, came in second. Third was the solo. Solo was quite complex. You have to learn a whole second game. It took me my second game until I felt sort of fairly comfortable. So maybe that's for more the experienced solo player. And then lastly, I reckon the 2-player, here we go. So this is played on the 3-player side here. But what's gonna happen is you're gonna have these little sort of bots, I guess AI sitting in both corners, but they just sit there and they just clog it up. And it's just a bit of a nuisance more than anything. 2 players probably the weakest. So that's my player counts. 3, 4, 1, 2. Cool. Now, comparisons for Tiny Epic Vikings. Look, games like Blood Rage and Innis, if you like those sort of games, then this game is going to be very much in your wheelhouse. But unfortunately, normally those sort of area majority, those sort of fighting games, I don't really like them, so I don't have too many of them. Probably the closest I have is Rurik Dawn of Kiev, so that's probably the closest comparison I have in my games collection. The other one, thematically, Fjords. Of course, makes perfect sense. Anyway, so that's my comparisons there. Look, again, if you love games like Blood Rage, 100% add this to your collection. It's small, it's tiny, gives you the exact same feeling, or similar feeling. Anyway, there you go, check it out. Really recommend Tiny Epic Vikings. And that's it from me. Let me know in the comments below, have you played any of the Tiny Epic series and which one is your favorite? Anyway, if you like what I do, if you appreciate the effort I put in these videos, cheeky little sub wouldn't go astray, would certainly appreciate it. Anyway, that's it. I'm Hogs, this is Board Game Bangers. Till next time, laters.